Welcome back. I'm Alex Rockwell. This is the 10th installment in a series of talks with my former teacher, James Piorkowski, on his tools for productive practicing, a collection of strategies and techniques you can apply in your practice and study of your instrument to ensure that you are solving problems and achieving your goals. You can download a PDF of the full list of tools on Jim's website, link in the description. Let's keep on going.
The thud buzz clear idea is not figuring out that I'm pressing too hard and then how much do I release, but you start from almost nothing.
Yes.
And so a thud is just having your tip on the string like you would be playing a harmonic, but you're not playing a harmonic. And
right.
So it's just thuddy, right?
It helps to do this
now,
exercise at a fret that doesn't have a harmonic too, of course. Yeah.
Right. And I'm also very aware that my fingertip is placed accurately in the fret space. Mm-hmm. And my position is, bent here and all the right things. My cigar is caught between the palm and the so which has really no exercise in it. It's just accuracy. There's no effort, really. The second step, which is really tricky, is buzz. So now I'm going to get the string on the fret, but not seal the deal.
Yeah.
I want a little buzz. Little pitch. And what's really hard about that is that you're 1% away from clear, which is putting the string on the fret and having a clear sound.
There's a very small tolerance.
That's right.
For that, yeah.
That's right. And so that's why it's so hard to do that second step. But what it becomes in your mind is an awareness of how little you actually need, if you're accurate. And so the hand just lightens up. You're able to do it because you approached it from a lighter approach. And, when we practice with thud, we have open strings, right? So we've talked about using a mute.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab on. So if we put a mute in our strings, and this takes care of the open strings. So now if I play an open string and a thud touch, it's all going to sound very similar. Right?
Yeah.
And when I'm gearing up for a recital or a concerto, I'll do thud at least half the time I'm practicing, because it saves the hand.
Yeah.
I mean, you really remove a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah.
And then when you remove this and then you go to clear, it's like Christmas morning. All of a sudden you have all these beautiful sounds coming out. And it feels so much like effortless. I know there's effort, but comparatively.
Right.
So I love thud buzz clear for scales, for especially big projects, big programs, to save the wear and tear. But it also just reveals so much.
I like to do it with beginners just to kind of illustrate how much pressure you actually need to get out of the strings.
Right.
That's typically the extent to which I apply it, though. I'm glad you just demonstrated that, though, because I kind of forgot that was a thing that you do. What
you become aware of is the just enough idea.
Yeah.
It's just enough weight into the string.
Yep.
Because any more, really, you get no benefit.
Right.
And it becomes detrimental eventually physically. And the deeper you press in, the more you have to release, right? So that pressure and then release is added work. And if you're playing quickly, Pat Metheny talks about his left hand, and he says, when my fingers are on the strings, I want them to be so light that if it was windy in the room, my hand would blow off.
Yeah, I like that.
And I've seen him do somewhat like marathon concerts, all by himself, one man show, 2 hours, just crazy. Playing 12 guitars of all shapes and sizes, and he can do it.
Yeah.
And he's in his 70s. He's still, chugging along at an amazing level.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. He understands you can't wear yourself out.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing with pressing too hard is you run the risk of bending the notes sharp too, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's no benefit.
Yeah. It's just, I think I said this earlier, Stanley would say how, he'll play an hour and a half recital solo, walk off. He could just turn around and go back out and do the whole thing again, just because the level of energy that he's expending for anything he's doing is the bare minimum required.
Right. It's efficiency, right?
It is.
It's all about efficiency.
Yeah.
And the extra energy that we would expend on doing that takes away from the energy of us being musical. I mean, you only have so much percentage of energy to put in forth in playing, and if it's going to squeezing harder than what is necessary, then you're shaving off some of the potential for being musically expressive. So you want to make sure you have plenty of that energy and attention span for that aspect. Otherwise, why be playing the guitar?
Right. Next tool, practice in this now so you can perform it in that now.
So mindfulness of what we're doing when we're practicing. I know this can happen with me. I know it happens with my students, where we're playing, we're practicing, no matter what stage of the construction of the piece or our prowess with the piece is at, are we really in the now? Are we really aware of what's happening? Are we creating the best outcome possible? Are we getting better? And what we're training ourselves to do is eventually, when we're performing for someone, we're on stage, or even if it's just for friends in a house, we know how to go there, to that place of being attentive to what we're doing. So mindfulness of what we're doing and why we're doing it. And again, all of these tools, you can always ask that question: why am I applying this tool now? What is my goal? What would be considered success or achievement at the end of this? While I'm doing it, am I achieving anything? So learning to be present is so important. My teacher in Toronto, Ellie Kasner, who was a terrific teacher, I remember Ellie knew pretty much every guitarist of note on the planet, and they would come to his house or perform in Toronto, and he would record them with film, and he was able to tell me, oh, well, Bream plays it like this, because you could, here's the film, here's this fingering for this Bach fugue or something, like he was this amazing analyst. And he was talking about Christopher Parkening and saying Parkening had such an amazing focus. He said if a locomotive went through his practice room while he was practicing, he wouldn't notice.
Right.
Like he would just be so intent on what his next note and next chord and next phrase was. And we have to have that because there are distractions. There are unusual things that are going to happen. Speaking of Julian Bream, I was at a recital of his in Toronto, and he just started to play, and a man literally fell out of his chair, had a heart attack. He was at an aisle seat and fell out, and they had to stop the recital. And paramedics came, took the man out. I hope he survived and everything was okay. But then Bream had to come back out and just start again. Clean start, without focusing on this commotion that just interrupted him. And it was one of the best.
I thought you were going to tell me he kept going.
Yeah. No, actually, no. Somebody went up and said, "Maestro, you need to stop. We have this emergency." Yeah. But it was an amazing recital. One of the best I've ever heard anybody play. It was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that when he restarted. Oh my gosh, could I do that? Could I not be thinking about this false start and the poor guy? But you're not able to do that if you don't practice in this now and really stay focused, and then you can bring that to the stage.
So it's really about headspace is what this is, and not letting yourself get distracted, being present in the music and so on. Practicing that on your own so you can do it later.
Exactly. Yeah. Because none of these things you can walk on stage and just flip the switch and say, all right, I'm going to be focusing now. I haven't focused in my practice, but I'm going to focus now.
Right.
No, you have to train yourself to focus.
Sort of almost like imagining yourself up on the stage or something.
Sure.
When you're at
home.
Sure. Yeah.
And as we will eventually, in fact, we could talk about it real quickly in recording ourselves, especially a video recorder. It gives some pressure, because it doesn't lie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could see if your shoulder's too high. You could hear it and see if you flubbed a shift, and that's frustrating. And I hate doing it, but again, I love the process because it forces me to be accountable.
Yeah.
And so even if you're not making a recording for someone else, to do that, to force yourself to do it and have a decent outcome is great training.
Yeah. There's a guitarist who I'm a real fan of, or I have been a real fan of lately. His name is Danny Rabin. He's a jazz fusion guitarist.
Okay.
He plays in a band called Marvin. I guess this is in response to people asking him, like, what are you thinking about when you are up there playing and improvising this incredible stuff, I think he says there's like 5 levels of performance mentality, and like the worst place to be is don't mess up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be telling yourself, okay, don't mess up, because like as soon as you do that, as soon as you think, oh, here comes that hard part, here comes that crazy scale run, here it comes, then of course you're going to screw it up, right? If you're thinking about it that way. One is look at me. If you're up there like showing off. One is just intrusive thoughts, right? Anything that doesn't have anything to do with the music. And there was one other one, I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was something to do with like making calculations in the moment. Maybe reminding yourself of a fingering, or if you're up there improvising, there's like this lick you've practiced and you think, I get to the end of beat 3 in the 3rd bar, and right there I'm going to shoot this lick, and and it just kind of ruins the authenticity of it or whatever. He says the place to be is this like, it's like a free floating attention. Like you're here, but you're almost like outside yourself.
Yes.
In a way, right?
Yes.
And everything is just plugged in. You're anticipating everything you're doing. You're reacting to everything you're doing. Because, I find that as much as we strive for perfection in our practice, and, it never truly comes, because we're human, right? And you make mistakes in performances that you've never made before. And so knowing how to handle them in the moment, right?
Right. So that's good to practice. I'm going to play this. I'm going to perform this, even though no one's here. And if I make a mistake, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to let it dismantle me. That's very important. You have to learn how to do that. How to recover.
You can't make the mistake of only doing that and never addressing mistakes.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
It could have been just a moment of not being attentive, or your mind wandering, and then you know what the source was. And I find if if I'm audiating, if I know what the sound of the next note will be, and I am managing my tips, we talked about tip management. If those two things are present, I don't make a mistake. I'm playing well. And every time I make a mistake or something is subpar, it's one of those things was not happening. I wasn't audiating. I wasn't anticipating the sound of the next note. And not only the pitch of the next note, but how loud is it going to be? Is it going to be early, late, in time? Is it going to be ponticello? Is it going to be sol tasto, rest stroke, free stroke? All those things. Like, if I zone out of that and lose that, I'm open for mistakes. So those are the important things: managing the tips and audiating. And those two things. If I fail in one of them, I'll fail on the guitar.
Okay, thanks for watching. Again, you can get a PDF of Jim's tools on his website, linked down below. If you have any thoughts, questions, or experiences you'd like to share related to anything we talked about, please feel free to leave a comment. In the next segment, we'll be talking about different ways of recording yourself while you practice, as well as focusing on physical self-direction. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next one.